News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk KGVO, AM 1290 and 98.3 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
The Green Party appeals to the U.S. Supreme Court. Good morning, everyone. Montana Morning. Here it is Wednesday, April 19th, 2017. Sky is mostly clear. It's going to be a nice day in western Montana. We're looking for sunshine and a high of almost 60. Right now it's 37 degrees in Missoula. Our newscast this morning sponsored by Dig It Excavating, where they bring 30 years of excellence to every job. For all your excavation needs, call 214-4292. Well, on Monday, the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals denied the Montana Green Party candidate Thomas Breck's emergency motion requesting injunctive relief by adding him to the May 25th special election ballot.
It set all of the next processes to be after the special election, but it allowed the ballots to be printed. So essentially, they backburnered me and denied me access to this special election, even though there was a bad rule in place, even though the federal courts in Montana said it was unconstitutional and unfair, they're still not going to allow me to participate in this election. I'm appalled.
In response to the ruling, Breck and independent candidates Steve Kelly and Doug Campbell will be pursuing further legal action by filing an emergency application for an injunction by the Supreme Court of the United States. Breck's campaign stated, quoting again, "We are disappointed in the failure of the Ninth Circuit Court to issue an injunction requiring the Montana Secretary of State to add the Montana Green Party's candidate Thomas Breck to the special election ballot. It is the constitutional right of each American to be given the opportunity to vote for a candidate that represents their ideals. We believe that for many Montanans, this candidate is Thomas Breck. As such, it is our duty to these voters to continue our effort to obtain the ballot access that was denied us on the basis of an unconstitutional state law." Breck says he's now preparing to try to unseat Montana Senator Jon Tester.
I will be running for Congress, whether it be the House of Representatives or the United States Senate. Jon Tester is not the representative that many Montanans think he is. If I don't get this seat, then I will be running for Jon Tester's seat. He is owned by Big Pharma, and Betsy DeVoe's brother, Blackwater, Hilltop, they're a huge funder of his campaign and his political organization.
Breck says he's running as a write-in candidate in the special election, but he says that type of campaign statistically has zero chance of winning. He says he's, quote, furious, end quote, over the way the ballot issue was handled, and this will not be the last Montana has seen of the Green Party. Well, now we know he's appealing to the Supreme Court. Authorities in southern Montana are looking for a man with an extensive criminal history who may be armed and dangerous. The Billings Gazette reports 32-year-old Tyson Heisler, who is wanted on a probation violation, abandoned his vehicle and ran from officers near Duck Creek along the Yellowstone River yesterday. In 2009, Heisler was sentenced in Yellowstone County to 9 years in prison following his release from multiple felonies. In 2003, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison with 2 years suspended for his role in a home invasion robbery in a Billings neighborhood. Heisler and two others posed as magazine salesmen and forced their way into a home. One of the men held a gun to the homeowner while Heisler and another ransacked the house. Following the story of a lawsuit filed against Walmart by an African-American professor at Montana State University after his fishing license stated his occupation as cleaning toilets. Spokesman for Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks, Ron Osheim, explained why occupation is a part of a licensing requirement.
It's an easy answer. It's in statute. We're required to ask for that information. And what's requested or what's required is occupation, name, age, last four numbers of your Social Security number, street address, whether you're a citizen, and then some basic information, physical information, hair, color, eye color, height and weight, and that sort of thing.
Osheim said that following the proper procedure in filling out the license could have prevented the situation from happening in the first place.
Something that people need to be aware of, particularly because of this instance. Both the person that issues the license is responsible, but also the person signs that the information is correct. So anybody buying a license is encouraged to check and make sure that all that information on there is correct. That's one of the safeguards we have for this sort of thing.
Osheim said FWP does not have a code of conduct for license providers, but he said common sense would dictate that courteous treatment at the license desk would translate into more sales for the vendor. Governor Steve Bullock is negotiating with Republican Senate leaders in the final days of the legislative session to pass tax credit and tax cut measures he favors. Senate Majority Leader Fred Thomas said GOP lawmakers want an agreement from the Democratic governor to allow some of their favored legislation to become law in exchange. Bullock spokeswoman Ranja Abel said yesterday that the governor is advocating for bills that would give an earned income tax credit for the working poor, tax credits for businesses that employ new apprentices, and tax cuts for new or expanding businesses. The Senate gave initial approval to the two tax credit bills on Tuesday. The tax cut measure previously failed to advance from the Senate Taxation Committee. Thomas declined to say what measures Republicans are pushing for in exchange. 50-year-old Howard Heiner was arrested for his 9th DUI on Easter Sunday and appeared in Missoula Justice Court yesterday, where he was placed on $50,000 bail. Court documents indicate Heiner wrecked a stolen pickup truck, and when the Highway Patrol trooper drove him to the jail, Heiner allegedly spat on him at least 4 times. At his Justice Court appearance, Deputy Missoula County Attorney Mark Handelman asked Judge Landy Holloway to place Heiner in jail on $75,000 bail.
The defendant showed up to a woman's house claiming to be lost. He was intoxicated, and the woman called the police. Defendant was later found to have skidded off the road in a stolen truck. He provided a breath sample of .117 blood alcohol content after refusing standardized field sobriety tests.
Handelman outlined Heiner's criminal history.
Defendant's criminal history shows 8 prior DUI convictions, including felony DUI, felony burglary, felony bail jumping, felony drug possession, and felony assault. He also has misdemeanor convictions for assault, partner, family member assault, negligent endangerment, criminal mischief, obstructing, and a laundry list of traffic offenses.
Judge Holloway set bail at $50,000. At his court appearance, Heiner was wearing a special vest designed to keep him from harming himself. Yesterday was the deadline for filing income taxes. Department of Revenue Director Mike Cadiz said collections for 2017 were on par with past years, but there have been some changes.
Income tax collections are up a little bit, but not hugely, so no major surprises. One of the big things that's been happening over the last couple of years is we've had a lot more stolen identities and so attempts at fraud. And as a consequence of that, we've kind of enhanced our checks in the process, and so that has slowed down how fast refunds get to people.
Cadiz wanted to say a special thank you to Montanans and remind the public what the tax money goes for.
We understand that it's a lot of money and it's a big deal. We want to encourage people to be timely with their filing, and then to recognize and celebrate the things that your state and local governments provide you. I mean, good justice system and schools and roads and all those things are really important.
He said about 6% of Montanans waited till the last few days to file. Our News Talk time is 6:12.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Plenty of sunshine is expected today with our high temperatures in the upper 50s. Tonight, partly cloudy with our lows right around the 40-degree mark. Increasing clouds and the threat of an afternoon shower on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.